Okay, it's a bit warm here. Hello and welcome to FTTR. I am Ewan McQuaid, and today we are talking about that big, beefy boy, Brock Lesnar. Now, first of all, I'd like to apologise for my sort of little absence, but sometimes you have to take a few days away from the thing you love to come back and appreciate it a bit more, which is what happened to me. You know, I was feeling a bit overwhelmed. There was a lot of news, a lot of stuff happening. I was very busy at work, all that stuff, but I decided to switch back. And how did I switch back? I went back and watched, Daniel Bryan versus Brock Lesnar from Survivor Series. Don't ask me why. I was just like, I'm in the mood for that. One of my favourite matches of all time. And it got me thinking. It got me thinking about Brock. It got me thinking about the beast incarnate, right? Because you look at his career since he returned, and it's one of the most inconsistent runs potentially ever. Because me personally, I look back on the sort of 2017 era quite fondly. I get the build to Roman Reigns was a bit bad, but the matches in between there were, for the most part, great. You obviously had the Great Balls of Fire match with Samoa Joe. You had the Fatal 4-Way match at SummerSlam. You had the AJ match at Survivor Series. There was a lot of good stuff in there. A few clunkers, the triple threat at the Royal Rumble. Let's not talk about that. The Braun Strowman No Mercy thing. Let's not talk about that either. But 2017, I thought, was overall a good year for Brock. And just the matches that he has, like Finn Balor was a really great match. AJ Styles, like I said, really great match. Daniel Bryan, absolutely fantastic match with not just great in-ring work, great storytelling as well. Brock is a master of his craft. And then you get past that, and it's just been the worst. So, you look at Brock Lesnar on Cage Match, right? And some of the matches on there, you're like, that was terrible. Particularly in this later run, sort of 2019 straight through to 2022. So if we go through these, right, you've got Brock Lesnar, Kofi Kingston. That's just one of the worst ever. Okay. You've got Brock versus Cain Velasquez. Also terrible. Brock versus Rey Mysterio at Survivor Series. Okay. I think the peak of this time was Brock in the Royal Rumble, him defending that title and Drew eliminating him. That was honestly one of the best Brock performances of the decade. Love that match. One of my favourite Rumbles of all time. Then you've got Brock versus Ricochet. The less said about that, the better. Don't know if it's worse than Kofi, but it's quite bad. Drew versus Brock at Mania. Okay. And then you get into the Roman Reigns of it all. You just get, Roman Reigns versus Brock at Crown Jewel. You get the 5-way match at day one. You get Brock versus Bobby, which I think was incredibly underwhelming. Then Brock in the Royal Rumble the same night. Elimination Chamber. You just ran through everyone. Brock Roman at Mania. Yeah. And then we're back to Brock again. I just don't get, right? Does he care? Does Brock honestly care at this point, or is he content to just do Roman Reigns matches for eternity? Because you look at the people that he's had the great matches with. Balor, Styles, Bryan. They're all terrific wrestlers in their own right, incredible storytellers, and they're a lot smaller guys. There's more stuff he can do. Like, how many times are we going to see a spear through the barricade in a Roman Reigns Brock Lesnar match? Even to an extent, his stuff with Seth, which granted he didn't have the longest matches, but they were really good as well. I think maybe Brock's just bored coming back for the paychecks and doing the same Roman Reigns thing, because the last time he was involved in a feud that wasn't about the Universal or WWE Championship was Survivor Series 2016 with Goldberg. That is a mental statistic. I would absolutely love Brock to just work with some people that are completely different. I'm almost positive that every WWE/wrestling fan wants to see Brock Lesnar versus Riddle. That just writes itself. Whether Riddle Goldberg as well is up there, but I think Riddle Lesnar is one of the high profile matches that people want to see. I don't think we've ever had Kevin Owens versus Brock Lesnar, Sami Zayn versus Brock Lesnar. There's just so many enticing matches that could be done with Brock that don't have to be centred around the world title, yet they all are. And I think that's the biggest issue with WWE and their booking of Brock Lesnar. He always has to be going for that top title. Me personally, I would move Brock down. He doesn't have to be vying for that title. That's the crux of this. There are so many other guys that he could easily work with. Heck, put him in there with Bron Breakker. See how that turns out. Have him actually establish people, because Roman just beating Brock again and again doesn't just hurt the story they're telling. It hurts Brock's aura because he keeps losing, and you can put him in as many Royal Rumbles as number 30, as many Elimination Chambers as you want where he dominates people. He keeps losing the big one, and that is the current issue with that storyline that they're telling. So pull Brock back. If he wants to do relaxed dates, he can, and then have him in special attraction matches where he just, either murders someone like Goldberg did to Dolph Ziggler, or puts on a really great exhibition match with a young up-and-comer that you want to establish. It's not hard. Roman Reigns is established. He doesn't need Brock to establish him again. And so Roman can raise the title over Brock again. It's tired. It's played out. And yeah, I want to see an end to that. The other thing I want to mention in this video, something that I think has actually really, really hurt Brock, and this is going back and watching his old matches. I say old, 5 years ago and stuff like that. The pairing of Brock and Paul Heyman, I think, is just so much better than the pairing of Roman and Paul Heyman. The announcing, the catchphrase and everything that Paul Heyman did for Brock was just magic. The crowd, and the way he rips down, I think he had a great one at Daniel Bryan where he was like the best prize fighter in all of professional wrestling, pointing at Bryan and then just immediately turns to Brock. I thought that was genius. I thought it was a really good way to sort of get over Daniel Bryan and also get over Brock. Heyman's expressions on the outside of the ring as well, when Brock's about to lose. I'm thinking of, Survivor Series when he's facing AJ and he's in the calf crusher. Incredible selling. Absolutely incredible. Both guys work so well together, and that's the way I want to see them go. I want to see Brock and Paul together again, if they're going to be together. If, the Tribal Chief story comes to an end at this WrestleMania, I want to see Paul back with Brock. Me personally, I might be in the minority there. People might think it's played out, but I think that pairing just gels so well together that it's a real shame that they've split up and they aren't together anymore. Don't know how you get back there, but it is what it is. It is what it is. And yeah, there's just a bit rambly thoughts on Brock Lesnar there. Didn't really have a point for this other than I just wanted to talk about Brock after watching that Survivor Series match. But yeah, I want to know your thoughts on Brock Lesnar and his current position in WWE down in the comments below, and I'll try and reply to every single one of them. Thank you all ever so much for your support, and have a nice day.